lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Start first by giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachakmadash, that belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you elect. Shalom unto you. All right. Now, when we get into that word devices, it's actually talking about schemes. Okay, but he's creating these technological devices as part of his scheme. Okay, and who's the he? We're talking about Esau Edom, who runs the world, the elite banking families. Okay, they're setting up a certain situation, and then they're using DJ Trump, to do it as well. But this is all being set up for their NWO, New World Order. All right, and so what I'm going to read eventually is the image of the beast, but I want to show you a couple videos. So let me go to the fair use. So fair use, fair use, fair use. This is not for monetary gain or value. This is strictly for entertainment purposes and educational purposes. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
What if the U.S. is trying to trap you inside its borders for a catastrophe they know is coming? They're slapping tariffs on everything. Prices are about to skyrocket, making it impossible to afford leaving. That wall they're building, it's not to keep people out. It's to keep you in. Look at the bridges collapsing, planes crashing left and right, exposing flaws that make flying terrifying. Who'd dare board one now? They've got you scared, stuck on the ground. And then there's this Star ID push. Sounds like something straight out of Leave the World Behind, where Tesla's piled up to trap everyone. Are they setting the stage for a lockdown disguised as safety? The economy's tightening, infrastructure is crumbling, and soon that ID might be your only ticket to move. If they let you. Is this all a coincidence or a master plan to cage you in America when the real disaster hits? Tariffs, walls, fear. It's adding up. So are they prepping you for survival or just making sure you can't escape what's coming?
All right. And so we're going to pause it right there. And this is just showing you. Okay, now I'm not saying this is what it is. And I'm not what we're saying. We're saying this is the situation that's being set up. Whether it's being played out the way the video just played it or if it's in another way. But we know the ending agenda of this is the image of the beast, which has complete control over the people. And when I read Revelation the 13th chapter, you'll see how that image, through their technology, is now being set up to have complete control over everyone. And then we see in modern times what they're doing with the Neuralinks in the NFC RFID microchip implants. Okay, so let me finish watching this. So that was like a hypothetical video, but this is the news that goes along with it in current event.
What if the U.S. is trying to trap you?
So we're going to go from that to another video.
Inside
Revelation chapter 13, verse 15, it said, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Okay, how? Through the technology. Things that, when you read up, the first beast before it was the ancient Roman Empire, but they didn't have the technology. They had the idea to dominate the world, to completely control the citizens, and they controlled them through bread and circus, which they're doing to the American people now, even through bread and circus. Okay, the people of the earth are generally through bread and circus. If there's not a war zone where more dire situations are going on, which pretty much everywhere else is, then it's the issue of how much bread and circus they allow you to consume. They just back to back, a narrative after narrative, sports narrative, and news narratives just all day caught you in that, to where you're just watching, and slowly, as the video was speaking of, locking the people in. Okay, where you won't, like I said, where you won't have the money to make a move. Okay, and then where are you gonna go? You're gonna go out to a country that's already under war. Okay, and this is what the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is telling the people, man. You can't get to the kingdom of heaven through salvation, if not through Yahweh, through Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's the only way. It's the only way. All right, meaning you have to make these sacrifices. Well, you have to be chosen, of course, but when you're gonna make these choices to make it through, and you still got to go through it. Okay, which I have another scripture, but I'm gonna play a couple videos. But before I do that, let me finish reading this. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. And when I show you this next video, something that's coming out now, I'll show you the advertisement, then I'll show it to you. And then they have a Black Mirror episode that goes with it. And you know how Black Mirror gets down. It's pretty much a show designed to give you the heads up, if you will, or to advertise, or however, the perspective you see it, of the image of the beast. Okay? That the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So everybody got to get it in them, or if you don't, you get cut off and killed. Okay, that no man might buy or sell. And if you can't buy and you can't sell, you're completely cut off, and you'll eventually fade out. Okay, if you watch movies like, I always bring this one, Demolition Man, Edgar Friendly was underground because he didn't have the implant like everybody else did up top. Okay, that was walking around in society. And there was a whole civilization, and there was a lot of Latinos and Negroes down there. Okay, if you go back, speaking Spanish and all of that. Okay, just poor looking Jakes, or whatever. And I meant looking Jakes. They were poor, but they looked like Jakes. Anyway, say he that had the mark of the name of his number, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, so let me show you this video. I'll show you the advertisement, then I'll show you the Black Mirror episode, okay? Here we go. NUBBIN system, right? This has got the whole page set up for it. NUBBIN system, okay?
Are we ready? Are we ready?
This is also fair use.
Here are some places NUBBIN can take you. Explore
NUBBIN.
nearly forgotten memories. Star in classic movies.
And back that up. So imagine if you're locked down and you can't go anywhere, and you're in another lockdown like we had, in 2020. This is gonna be, if you thought the inoculus was one thing, this is gonna take you to new heights.
Here are some places NUBBIN can take you. Explore nearly forgotten memories. Star in classic movies. Play the most immersive games ever known. Explore endless galaxies. Revisit old loves. And even find new ones.
Okay.
NUBBIN. NUBBIN. It's better in here.
Fair use. So let me fast forward. This is of course fair use, fair use, fair use. This is just a clip from the Black Mirror episode.
I am Roxette. Okay. So wait, I left or right side? Doesn't matter. Done. Okay. Now hold down the sync button on the controller. Nothing's happening. We haven't chosen our fighters yet. So I am Roxette. Okay. So where's my guy? Lance. Hey, all right, Lance. Let's go. Okay. You have to brace yourself. Brace myself. Come on. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1.
In other words, they just got into the Matrix also. Okay, so this is all prepping you for these ideas and acceptance for all these ideas. Okay? You're not ignorant of these devices.
Crazy. What the fuck?
Danny, said you gotta brace yourself.
Carl?
And that's enough, okay? One more scripture and I'll close out. But this is what they're setting up. Okay, this is what they're setting up. All right, to where the games are now interactive. It's funny because, every once in a while you check out, which I don't watch. I used to watch basketball. Anytime the Lakers were on, any NBA games, I try to catch it. Now I'm so bored with the narratives and with all of this. It's not about the basketball, and the game is different and it's changed. And a lot of what do they call them? Casuals that come along. They're part of the basketball world now. Okay, they've chosen to be in that world. Well, they don't understand the skills and so on and so forth that I grew up being mandatory to play. All right, so I have a certain thing, but this is perfect because when I've seen friends play online, 2K online or whatever, and it's the same. You can play with a group of friends and you all be online or whatever you got going on, and it's the same setup. Okay, they play just like they're playing in the video game now in the gyms and at the parks. Well, they don't even really play at the parks, but just saying, they stand around till it's their turn to get the ball. They don't know how to move without the ball. They don't have any other skills to do with certain situations. The games don't even make it to where you can do something with the ball in certain off the catch, off the move, moving to and so on and so forth. And this is the mentality that they're boxing you into. And the people lack imagination and are accepting this alternate reality as something better than it. And when you don't have this to escape, when you succumb to just dealing with the alternate reality instead of actual reality, okay, the what's the other word? Not alternate. What's the other word I wanted? Artificial, okay, reality. And then you have to somehow, if you don't have the money to buy the NUBBIN system or whatever it is and all of this, what are you going to do? You're going to bug out. Well, this is what the men of the Lord, I have a scripture, what the men of the Lord are going to do, okay, in that day. Okay, let me go to it, because this is what the Spirit is setting us up, how to deal with a situation like this. Okay, this is Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and not to NUBBIN, or to the whole world, or in what was I going to say? In the cares of this life, okay, that seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, all these things shall be added unto you. Not worried about how many meals or if you're missing meals, hungry, thirsty, that you've already learned to suffer without those things of the world. We fast as a rehearsal, for certain situations. But hey, when it comes around, going through that experience of fasting, we're going to be able to do it better than the average, person out there that just eats on impulse whenever they want to. Okay? It says, and is occupied in the meditation thereof. So we're going to give our mind to the Most High. And the whole book is the law, of course. Okay, well, these precepts are laws and commandments and so on and so forth. And we're going to give our mind to it and be occupied in the meditation thereof, of the kingdom of heaven. We're going to rejoice because, okay, this is what we're in. But, hey, we're close. We at the end. We know they're going to kick the door in at some point. We know they're going to try to take us hostage and behead us and so on and so forth. And robots going on and sweeps and so on and so forth, okay? We're going to do what we got to do. Now, there's other things, more particulars, I'm sure that'll fill it. But we know through the scriptures this is what will be going on. It's what they went through in the time of Acts, and there's no new thing under the sun. It says, we'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, which the time of Acts and even the time when Yahweh Shah was on earth before. These are all times of the ancient. This is over 2,000 years ago. And even before we look at the different works of certain men, righteous and unrighteous or wicked, and we see how we can fit in and do the right thing and be occupied in prophecies. And we're still occupied. And when they're going to hit the button, we're occupied in prophesying unto people. And it may be the time where we don't prophesy unto the people anymore. The average person. If you don't already in the know, in the inner circle, hey, you missed out. Okay, it says he will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. And we're going to be in like mind with that. The elect will be in like mind. The believers will be in like mind and not locked in the NUBBIN, okay? Or NUBBIN, I guess it's called. It says, he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences, deeper understandings of the scriptures, and be conversant in dark parables. This is why we have to have our bodies ready so we can yield them as righteous instruments that the Most High can use. Meet for the Master's use, I believe, is how the wording goes. Okay, so we can be instant, so the Spirit doesn't have to hesitate to hop on us, and we can do the things necessary. Okay? That's why you got to watch what you put in your body. And I don't just mean what you put in your mouth, but what you put in your mind. Okay? You got to be cautious what you put in your body, whether it be mentally, spiritually, or food or whatever. What content you consume. Okay? To keep, because if you're thinking about, okay, LeBron about to hit the all-time high records, and you're thinking about whatever else you may be thinking about, but your mind needs to be occupied on prophecy, on the details of the prophecy, the dark sayings. Okay, subtle parables are. Okay, there will be also, he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables, talking to others that are in like mind about those parables, right? He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, for he hath tried the good and the evil among men. And you'll know, and this is describing a situation like in the time of Acts, where they're moving around, house to house, going, putting the word out there, go to another country, put the word out there, go be in a house, and you have a deep conversation, may have a council, meet up with some other men that finally show up, boom, edify some of the elected believers, and then move on, and so on and so forth. Okay, praying, healing, all these things happening in these situations, and then moving on. Okay, he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplication for his sins. When the great Lord Yahweh will, he shall be filled with the spirit of understanding. He shall pour out wise sentences and give thanks unto the Lord Yahweh in his prayer. Okay? And so prayer is constantly in your mouth. Prayer is in your thoughts. Okay? At all times. And that you're in that closet within your mind. So the most secret closet you got. And so you can always be putting things up. Okay? Constantly have your mind occupied in prayer and the righteous spirit of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Okay, he shall direct his counsel and knowledge, and his secrets shall he meditate. You're going to be locked into that. Okay, not nubbing. Especially if that lockdown and all that comes around, people, let's go do this. No, we're not going to bug out. We're going to bunker down, or whatever they call it. Okay? He shall show forth that which he hath learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. Okay? And then one more in this chapter, Sirach 38:24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise. And so in this time is where we're already conditioning ourselves to be locked in with our free time. If we're not physically doing something and we have some leisure time, some downtime, hey, get your mind on the Lord. Okay? How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow, and that glorieth in the goad, that driveth oxen, and is occupied in their labors, and whose talk is of bullocks? And you can even put that as talkers of things of the world, talkers of the sports world, talkers of, family life or whatever, the world that used to be, the glory days, man. Okay, our mind should be locked into the things of a righteous future. Okay, that's what we should have our mind on. Okay, and it goes on to say that to get your mind on these things now and get them on it early, so when things like nubbin come around, because what were they talking about? Putting you in the game, in your leisure time, you playing a game, you're in a movie. That ain't real life. That's fantasy. You're in memories and old loves and all this other stuff. Okay? I'm in love with Yahweh Shema. I'm trying to get to see what this kingdom of heaven is about. I want to see what this new body is about. This is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to speak into existence. But a lot of people out there are going to want to go back to what they already know. Oh, I want to imagine, like in the movie The Matrix, the original movie, the first one, the guy that was getting disgruntled, he was going in having secret meetings with the Smiths. And what did he do? He went back to a restaurant and had a dinner, a steak dinner. Okay, that's all he wanted, to go back and see what steak was like again. Well, not thinking what the freedom would be like in his mind if they got through it. He couldn't see that far. He wasn't a visionary. Well, the scriptures help you to become a visionary through the Spirit. Okay, so we don't need things like nubbin. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. Just a quick one. If you want to throw that out there. So Lord, what is edifying, giving all praise and glory to the Yahweh, Bashim Yashai, Bashim Rachak Wadash. To the next one, Shalom.